Here we go with another episode of Rethink Real Estate. Chris is back in the seat again as we talk about contact us. It's just an easy way for me to say how easy is it to get your information online? Believe it or not, I go through a simple story of trying to find a realtor that I met with at a conference and trying to get their information. It took me forever, even to the point that I actually couldn't get it online and had to contact somebody that knew them in order to get that. So we want to talk about today making sure that all of your information is up to date, making sure that it's easy for people to contact you, and some of the reasons why it is so important, giving you some examples and some other ideas to make sure that you're interacting and getting as much data and getting your clients through to you as quickly as possible. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to Rethink Real Estate. My name is Ben Brady, and this is a real estate podcast aimed to deliver sales strategies, marketing tips, and business insights from industry experts and myself to build a listing-focused business for the future. Let's get into it. Christopher, welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
Do you get called Christopher?
East Coast. Yeah, so all my East Coast family calls me Christopher. All my West Coast family calls me Chris. It's weird.
No one ever calls me Benjamin. Ever.
East Coast is weird, man. They either use your full name or it's strictly nicknames. So it's kind of like Australia. Like it would be like, Benny or like Brady or
Brady.
Yeah, they never call you like Benno. Like I don't know if they call you Benno, but everybody in Australia.
Benno was in school. Benno. Yeah, Benno was in school. Yeah,
exactly. So it's kind of like the East Coast over there, where you either have some weird nickname or it's like your full name. It's weird.
They used to call me Brados, like my last name, but then abbreviated even further or put an os on the end of it. Brados.
Yeah, Australian nicknames are crazy. Let's just throw that one out there. Australian nicknames, they have a nickname for everything. Like they don't say the single full word in Australian.
Well, we had a guest on the podcast that just a great little short story to begin with. He had a guest on the podcast, and it was an American guy who's Gary Johnson. If the episode's already come out, but if it hasn't, it's a really great episode. I really, really liked Gary, primarily because we spoke about swearing. And how much we hold it near and dear to our heart. But anyway, podcast episode stops, and I really appreciated waiting until after the podcast episode to do this. He's like, I really love your country's affection of the word CUNT.
Yeah, see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. And I'm like, I beg your pardon? And he's like, I just want you to know is that I don't know why people find it so offensive here in the US. I'm like, well, it's kind of a word, Gary. And he's like, yeah, I know, but like you guys use it as a sign of endearment. I'm like, yeah, but it's like kind of like different dialects of language. Like, Spanish in Spain is different to Spanish in Mexico. Like kind of the same philosophies, I guess, but different dialects and whatever. I'm like, it's kind of the same with that word. Like if you see it in a high pitched voice and you do it with a smile, yes, but sometimes not.
It's like our version of the F word, I think, where there's just multiple different uses and stuff like that. I got into a heated debate in Australia that you guys said it a crazy amount, and the Australian was like, we don't say it that much. And I'm like, literally like all around this bars, that's the only thing I hear over and over and over, because I'm a fish out of water. So when I go there, I hear it like crazy. And it's the same thing. It's said a lot in like London and stuff like that too, I believe, in the UK. But yeah, it's Australians love it. They love that word for some reason. Australian males love it. Let's just put that.
Thank you.
Let's preface that. Australian males love that word, especially in a social gathering at the pub. And,
we've successfully started my new series of a podcast, which is going to be the historical archives of swearing.
Yeah, that was just Australian history. Like someone needs to do a podcast on that as a whole, because Australia has some crazy history. It was the weirdest experience for me learning about history over there. I was like, oh, this is weird.
It's the English history, but then it's sort of abbreviated the factor of but then they didn't like you, so they basically got all the criminals and shipped them down to this island.
Exactly.
And that's us. So, folks, anyway, if you're still listening at this point, after 3 minutes in of us just talking shit, the reality of this episode is something that I'm actually really at the moment in the depths of understanding. Chris, I mentioned on a previous episode of ours that I really struggled to find some podcast guests that I wanted to have on, and the interesting part of how I got to know them was we were at a conference, sat beside them, the age-old story of shaking hands. Where are you guys from? What do you do? Oh, you find some common ground, really like talking to them over the 2 days of the conference. Great people. They run a podcast themselves, really great agents, all of that type of stuff. But then, I took down their information. I've got the handwriting of, I'd like to say a doctor, but it's chicken scratch. And my spelling probably isn't.
My daughter, who's 4 years old, has better handwriting than Ben. Let's put that frank.
Coming from a guy who tried to decipher it one time and be like, no, I just can't do this. But I guess that the funny part is that I'm like, oh, it's there, easy enough. They're agents. They're in Arizona. Let's just Google them. And I found them, but then there was just no easy way to get in contact with them. I couldn't find their email addresses. I couldn't find their contact numbers. And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm going to give this 3 minutes. Gave it 3 minutes of my time. Then it got to the point where I just picked up my phone and I text somebody else that was there at the conference that knew them. And I'm like, hey, do you have their numbers there? Yeah, I do. Now, again, that's easy. I'm somebody in their profession. I'm in the world of real estate. I'm going to go to that extent to find them. If I'm somebody looking for them because I drove past a real estate sign and I didn't see this, I don't know anybody else or whatever it is, realistically, there has to be an easy way to contact us. Now, I want to talk about this quickly, Chris, and I want you to talk through the transformation of what you've done for Harcourts Auctions. Is that previously I would get phone calls that would be like, hey, look, I want to list my property. I'm like, where did you get my number? Because we made it a conscious effort for my number not to be on the website. Like auction day, we wanted it to go to the regional directors. There's a lot of different stuff that happens there. And we purposely, because of our exclusivity within our own network, we're trying to make it difficult for the outside world to find us. Okay. Yep. But then obviously things have changed and we're offering our process out more and we're expanding and all of those different things. That was one of the first things that you did from a professional standpoint is make it easier. It's basically just this easy contact us form and making sure there's a chat bot on the website that's really easy that pops up, hey, can we help you with something or whatever it is. But now what I've noticed on so many of agents' websites, so many of their Facebook pages, information is actually difficult to find. And Chris, you're in the process of finding agent information for us to reach out to, and you find it incredibly difficult as well. Let's talk about how do agents make it easy for the world to know how to get in touch with them?
There's tons of ways to make it easy. And yeah, I'm 100% entrenched in trying to find contact information for our sales team to then reach out to people who have tough listings or listings that are sitting on the market and everything like that. So, if you're listening to this, you have a tough listing, just contact us so I don't have to find your stuff. That would be the best way first. But in your case, it's your clients aren't actively and proactively reaching out to you and have your information already, unless they went to a sign or anything like that. There are so many websites, Facebook pages, Instagram pages, everything like that with outdated email addresses all over it. And I've gotten so many bounce backs, or our sales team has gotten so many bounce backs from just wrong email addresses, wrong phone numbers, anything like that. And I get it. You want privacy, and we all want privacy in our day and age. But as a realtor, you are a public personality serving the public, and it's your business. It's the same thing as would the restaurant down the road not have a phone number that you can call to make reservations? That would be bananas. Or an online reservation.
Let's tell the story you told the other day, which I forgot about completely. Because when we first started doing some of our white label stuff, Chris is like, hey, these are just some names and numbers of people that have got listings on the market over 45 days up in the Bay Area. Just give them a buzz, give them a call. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll check it out. So I called. This is on a Saturday at 11 o'clock. And they're like, how dare you call me on a weekend? I'm like, hang on.
11 a.m., by the way, not p.m.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, I literally said to them, just a knee-jerk reaction, you're in real estate, right? And they're like, yeah, it's the weekend. Don't we, are you doing opens? And it was just bizarre. They're like, that wasn't one person, Chris. You gave me a list of 100 people. There was 25, 30 people that were offended that I called them on a Saturday.
Yeah. And I get it. We're getting so many cold calls and spam emails and everything like that. But if that one client was trying to call you that day and couldn't find your phone number, or, you answered the phone kind of a brashly, because you don't want to work on the weekend because of things like that, that's just not how we are in real estate. As we all know, we've worked, our days off are usually in the middle of the week. If we take a day off, it's usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere around there. It's kind of like a barber schedule, right? Where the weekend is our busiest time. Yeah. And like, because everyone's off and everybody can then focus on it. Like, we know as realtors, we work nights, evenings, weekends, like that is holidays, like that is our typical time. And if you don't want to work that, or you want to make it easier, that's where a lot of the click to calls and call to actions on your website need to be focused on. Here's times that I'll get back to you, or anything like that. Because there's so many times where you just have wrong information, or you're not being clear and concise on your website. And that's what I changed for our website specifically, was I added more fields on our forms. And most people think in their head that the form needs to be just super simple, like first name, last name, email address, phone number, even if that, like, maybe less information than that, because they don't think people will fill out all their information. We haven't had any drop off on our form fills at all. And I added 2 fields specifically to tell us what persona they are. So who are they? Like, are they an agent? Are they a buyer? Are they a seller? What are they? Are they ancillary services? People trying to get us to like buy something or anything like that. I put that on the website, and then I put an open text field that's on there that is required, and it says, "How did you hear about us?" And it's because I want to understand where they're coming from, and it allows them to put in a spot where they can type in stuff that I can filter quickly for them being spam or anything like that. Like, and it's not just there. We have that information. We have click to call and the right information on Facebook, Google, anywhere they can find us, because we want to make it as easy as possible. Instagram, we have links in a bio where we have all our contact information in there. We want to make it as easy as possible, because it's not just our website that they're going to find out information about us these days. It is social media platforms. It is, any business bureau that you're doing affiliate marketing with, or anything like that. Like, if you're in clubs or organizations, make sure you have your right contact info on there. Realtor.com, Zillow, like, all that information matters. And so if you're not doing a constant audit every time you change your phone number, change your email address when you switch brokerages, like, you need to be going through and checking every single place that your profile is out there, so that people can easily contact you and do business.
Contact audit. That's the first thing here.
100%.
Let's talk about a couple of individual examples of this, though. Like, first things first is make sure there's an easy contact us form on your website. Like, that's the game changer. But the thing I was going to say to you is that, do you think it's taboo? I saw an agent the other day, which I thought was genius. First of all, is that posting something about a property, they put their price at the top of their post every single time, right? So that people don't have to click more and then look at it or whatever it is. Yep. But the second part, they had their phone number. And I don't typically see agents put their phone numbers on social posts or on stories or anything along those lines. Like, I thought that was great.
I'm a huge proponent on putting everything in the information, but also in the captions, so that it is actually clickable and it is copyable and stuff like that. When you have it in the image on a social post, people then have to like screenshot the image and go back and forth, or they have to like open 2 apps at the same time to write down your phone number, or have a pen and paper handy to write down your phone number just to call you. No, but if you put it, in the caption, people can hover on that, they can click on that, they can copy it, and they can call right from there. We do the same thing in our email signatures. Like, I get so annoyed when an email signature is just an image and it's not clickable. And Ben knows this, because I've harped on this for years. And I'm like, if I want to call you, I want to click and call. Or if I want to text you, I want to click and text and everything like that. And there's so many ways to do that on your website where it's not an image and it's actually clickable. Chatbots are super cheap now that get right into you.
Yeah, I think ours only costs $50 a month to have on the website, and I've got to say that has absolutely changed the interaction of people on the website.
And there's cheaper ones. There's like free ones you can put on there and stuff like that have their branding on it and everything like that. But
and it just is. It's like an app on your phone. Then it's like an app on your phone that then notifies you. Like, it's like WhatsApp or something like that.
The biggest thing too is setting expectations for when people contact you as well. And that's kind of a big point that I want to harp on is, if, like we talked about, people don't work on the weekends, or there's certain days that you dedicate towards your family and everything like that. Everyone's situation is different. So, religion or anything like that, there's people who take certain days off for certain reasons. And if there's that, and someone contacts you, have autoresponders set up automatically, so that it sets the clear expectation without you having to manually do that. You having to jump on your phone during, your kid's soccer or dinner or anything like that, and say, clearly, it's the same thing. Remember back in the day when all the agents, and they still kind of do it, but all the agents used to have voicemails and tell exactly the hours that they would be available, and they'll call you back and everything like that. It's the same thing of doing that, but doing it digitally. So when someone emails you, an autoresponder goes out to them through either your system or your email inbox as a whole to any new email address. And it says, "Hey, thank you so much for contacting me. I'll be available at these hours to respond to anything else. If it's urgent, feel free to call my phone number here." Like,
So do you remember those call services? They might have been only in Australia. No, definitely they were here. Is that you'd call somebody and instead of getting hi, you've reached the voicemail of Ben Brady, they actually someone picks up and they're like, hi there, you've reached Ben Brady's phone. What are you calling about? He'll call you back. Like, and actually gave you a bit of a summary.
Yeah.
Is there AI that does that now? Surely.
I mean, I don't know. If not, someone could create it in 2 seconds.
If someone knows of something, just put a comment in the comment box, please.
I do remember those, and it was like press one. I think my mom had one. That's how I remember it. My mom, when she was working for Muscular Dystrophy Association, had one of those, and it was like if you're calling about sponsorships, press one. If you're calling about this,
no. It wasn't that.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
so I'd call my uncle, right? My uncle Greg, and I'd call him, and literally this lady pick up, like it's like B's receptionist,
Oh,
and she'd be like, "Hi, Greg Brady's phone. Hi, my name's Ben Brady. I'm just reaching out to my uncle. Okay, great, no problem. Is this the best number to call you back on? Yes. How quickly would you like him to call you back? And is there anything specifically that he needs to know? And then they would type it up and then send him a text.
yeah.
I'm sure you could
Kind of
set
like a
like a
pager situation.
yeah,
Feels.
kind of. It
Yeah.
kind of is. Like, I'm sure that like people that are like into like the oh well, why am I drawing a blank here for a moment? Is like the virtual assistants, VAs.
Yep.
Okay, surely you could set something up like that if you've got one of those. Or I just think it's a different touch because I wanted to lead into this. Okay, is that Chris? I don't pick up my phone based on the volume of spam calls
Yes.
I get.
Yeah. It's a real problem.
And let me tell you why I want to talk about this at the moment. Like, I don't know about you, but my voicemail sort of notifications on my phone is shit. It's
Same.
awful.
Same.
Like, it
I get
takes
them like
ages.
yeah. I get them like 2 hours later.
Yeah,
Like
but
when someone
not
leaves.
mine are so bad that if I don't go into that portion of my phone and click on it and then go out of it, they will never pop up. Right? It's
Gotcha.
bad. Right?
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm not picking up all of these random numbers based on the volume of spam calls I get. I had one, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 months ago. I remember this is why I pick up all my spam calls now and just go, hello, Ben Brady speaking. And then it's like, I listen and I'm like, I can tell straight away. Because if it's somebody that genuinely wants you, they'll call you back if you accidentally hang up on them. But I missed the lead for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Obviously obviously didn't get
It's
it,
so
but yeah.
tough. Like from my standpoint, I don't pick up any of the spam calls, but I'm not in a sales forward role
Correct.
anymore. And so
Correct.
that's the big difference is if I was in a sales forward role, it sucks, but I would have to pick up everything. Like Danielle picks up my significant other picks up every spam call. It's weird to me. And I'm like, she just likes to like not mess with them, but she likes to hey, like figure
No,
out
I
what
get
they
it.
are. And I'm like, I just don't have the time. I don't have the energy mentally to like pick up every spam call like that. But the problem is it's a real problem. So if anybody has a solution out there, I'd be all like ears to hear it because every agent I think and every salesperson at this point runs into those same spam calls and then they kind of neglect the rest of the calls. It's the same thing of like getting leads on your website and then you get all the spam leads that come through. So then you just don't even pay attention when a real lead comes in, they want to contact you. There's it was at Grant Cardone when he's sitting on the stage. There's a video clip of him where he like calls into a business and he's like, I
Oh,
guarantee
that's
you
right.
they will not give me their services, like your services. And the owner's sitting right in front of him. And he's like, no, my team's good. My team's good. And he's like, tell me how much the price is. Nobody will answer. And nobody will give him the answer. It's the same thing. We just get inundated with the crap that when someone is actually hot to trot and they're like a good lead coming through, we just don't even give them any mind. We don't even give them any attention. And that is the
Yeah.
number one thing that could hurt your business more than anything in the world is one, not even be able to contact you, but two, when they do contact you, not getting a response. There's so many times that we've reached out to people that we're looking for like to employ their business, whether it's, HubSpot or anything like that. And it's tough to get into a sales conversation with them and it's like we're trying to give you money. Like, do you not understand that?
I didn't realize. I honestly didn't. Oh, that's right. Your experience with HubSpot was horrible, wasn't it?
No. Like HubSpot's usually fine, but there's a couple
Yeah.
times where like you get lost in the weeds between transition of certain individuals and stuff like that. And after that point, it does burn the bridge a little bit. It makes you not want to talk to anybody when they reach out to you. You're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good, man. Like I found my solution by looking elsewhere instead of having someone actually tell me exactly how it was and save me a bunch of time. I figured it out. And
That's
Clist
it.
has done the same thing. Clist has
Yeah.
had all the issues within its third party vendors, and it's stuff like that.
Well, I think that one of the things that I want people to be aware of, though, like like I know that we are belly to belly and we want to get on the phone with people and all of that type of stuff. One, I just want to get back to the real point of all of this. Let's do a contact audit. Let's really just try and embrace the nature of, even if you're getting spammed or whatever it is, let's do a contact audit. Let's look at that. On another podcast episode, we're going to be going through like Yelp and reviews and all of that type of stuff. I'm going to have Chris run through us with that as well. But that'll be something else that we talk about later. But the other part
and
of this,
there are ways to kind of mitigate some of those spam calls by using like a Google phone number or anything like that, where they do kind of do the filtering in their backend. Because if you have a filter from a Google phone number, or some of those services that do that, and then you have it go to your phone, it's also getting the Apple. If you're on an iPhone, it gives you the Apple, filtering, while it's also giving you some other third party filtering at the same time. So there are ways to kind of mitigate some of those spams and not put your actual phone number on the website, but put something that does have time frames and stuff like that. And again, sends auto respond text messages afterwards, like a Google phone number could, if they're contacting you at ungodly hours, like 9 p.m. or something like that, or 11 a.m. on a Saturday to some people. So
yeah, I think that, like I think you've got to go back through and you've got to do a contact audit of yourself. You've got to look at all of that. Where is your information? Get a complete stranger, get one of your family member to go, hey, how quickly can you find my phone number? How quickly can you find my email address? How quickly can you send me this? Whatever it is. I think that we really need to take into consideration like the contact us form on your website, the chatbots, all of that type of stuff in order to make it easier. Like I want people to think about it. Like, for example, American Airlines, I will never phone them ever again. And I have a direct line through to the actual executive platinum line. Now, again, it's a great experience every time I call them.
We had the same situation recently with Grand Hyatt, and we had to call them out for a similar situation. And I called them out on my social media account finally, which has 90,000 followers. I called them out and was like, it's really fun going to the Grand Hyatt in Manchester, Grand Hyatt in downtown San Diego, one of the most premier hotels, in the world. And you can't get a hold of anybody after someone, robs your entire room and all this stuff, and you can't get a hold of anybody. And then all of a sudden, that was the only way I can get a hold of them, was posting on my social media account. And that's not what you want. That's not how you want to interact. And that's not how big businesses interact at all. Like, American Airlines, Grand Hyatt, you don't want to be a smaller version of that same standpoint and just piss off customers.
But what I was going to say, though, I was going down a different angle here, is that it's all right. I'm clearly passionate. That's all right. We'll let him go. Is that I, instead of calling them, and I have a direct line through to that executive platinum line where I get 2 rings, someone picks up, it's a person. I just say, hey, this is what I want. But I still choose to use chat to make changes.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Quicker, easier. You're not.
I can do it in the middle of something. I don't have to be in a quiet place.
You could be talking to someone. You could be in the middle of a coffee shop. You could be a lot of places. That's where I think website chat is super crucial. If someone's just trying to ask a quick question, hey, I'm interested in this listing. Like, what's the next process? Like for us, we get it a lot for auction. I don't know how many realtors would actually get it, but we say, how do I download the disclosures, or what do I do? How do I register to bid and stuff like that?
There's a case for auction right there, though, Chris, is that maybe you need to be doing things a little bit differently in order to get people to provoke like some comments and actually go to your website in the first place. Because let's face it, though, the only reason I'd go to a real estate agent's website is probably just to find their contact information if I couldn't find it on Google. I'm not going there to look at. I'm not looking at properties or anything like that. Obviously, you can link people to it and all of that type of stuff, but realistically,
we get I think today and yesterday alone we got dozens of form submissions, and we get it every single day because of the properties and the aspects that they have to go to our website to find out more information, and
it's different.
Again, we're creating hoops for people to jump through, but it's not like they're not jumping through them. Like they're jumping through them, and we're watching the show, and we're doing a good thing. We're getting all their contact information for future business. We're getting it for future follow up, and we're putting it in our database and stuff like that. That's all things that you, again, if you employ auction, but also you also have a regional director that does filter out a lot of the spam stuff for you, and filters out a lot of the tire kickers and everything like that. So maybe if you don't want your contact information, come to auction. We'll put the regional director's contact information right on there. John and Shannon will give them right a call.
That's it. Folks, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Rethink Real Estate. Hope you join us back again here shortly.
See you guys.
So about 75% of our audience hasn't liked, followed, or subscribed to our podcast. It would mean the world to us, and it would help this podcast more than you know to expand our reach if you were to like, follow, or subscribe on any of the platforms that you're watching or listening on. Thanks again.